Hey everyone, how's it going today? And welcome back to another second stimulus check and second stimulus package update as we enter into this brand new week together. So we have a very big week, and I would even go to say a very big next several couple of weeks coming up, because there is a lot of things that are going to be happening in this country right now, not just about the second stimulus check and second stimulus package, and about the unemployment benefits boost extension, of course, but although there is that too, which we're going to be talking about in a little bit, so stay tuned and definitely watch to the end, but also about just all sorts of different events that actually have a potentially huge role in terms of what's going to be happening with the second stimulus check and second stimulus package, the unemployment, and I would even just go to say a lot of different events that are going to basically be influencing the whole faith of this country going forward. So we're definitely going to be making a lot of future videos talking about that, and also of course covering some of that in today's video. But if you are brand new here because of that reason, remember to definitely subscribe and hit the bell notification so you guys can get updates about these future videos. And again, like if you are brand new here, when we're not making those videos, it'll probably be more about other finance topics. So all sorts of things that I like to think are super insightful. And remember to smash the like button as well, because it always does help support this channel. But crazy to think the general idea is that we are literally in the last couple of days in September and about to transition into October. And this also means that we are literally about to be on the verge of entering into the final fourth/final quarter of this year. And it also does mean that we are literally, as crazy as you guys may or may not think, we are literally about under 6 weeks away from probably one of the most most important election in pretty much this entire modern era so far. If you are going through some kind of struggle right now, some kind of difficulties like the millions and millions of people, as I always try to tell a lot of other people, is that we really are in this together, and this election that's coming up soon is going to potentially just be a massive game changer for whatever ends up happening for the next who knows how many, potentially even longer than 4 years, depending on how it goes. But we're going to be talking about that in a little bit in just today's later part in today's video, so definitely stay tuned for that. So in today's video, I'm basically going to be giving you guys a little bit of like a schedule, timeline / a little bit of an overview about what to basically expect next in terms of the stimulus check, the stimulus package, unemployment, as well as all sorts of different events to really be able to, I guess you can say, like just to write down on your calendars, or really just to be aware of, because these are very important events that are going to be coming up, and they are all, at the end of the day, like how I kind of mentioned, in the world of economics, everything kind of ties and connects to each other in some way, shape, or form. So it's going to be very important, so definitely watch all the way through. But before we begin, make sure you smash the like button if you haven't done so already, and consider subscribing and hitting the bell, and feel free to comment at any time, any questions, thoughts about anything, or even any stories in general about anything at any time at all as you're watching through this video. Okay, let's get this video started without further ado. Welcome back. So basically today's schedule is we're really just going to be giving you guys a little bit of a calendar / overview about what to basically expect with the stimulus check, stimulus package, a little bit of like a timeline, and also with the unemployment. With regard to the stimulus check, it's very similar to kind of like the last episode, which, by the way, if you haven't done so, definitely consider subscribing and hitting the bell to get notified about that. But basically all sides are now basically in agreement with the second stimulus check and second stimulus package. The brand new thing to really have a heads up is that right now the Democrats have basically officially decided they're going to be coming down from their original $3 trillion package that they wrote called the HEROES Act. And they're basically going to be writing their own a totally brand new proposal now that's supposed to be estimated to be right around $2.4 trillion. We talked about the bipartisan proposal, which I'll probably leave a link in the thumb screen and the end screen so you guys can watch that video from, like, I think about a week ago if you haven't done so already. But basically there's the bipartisan proposal right now, which is basically the one that everyone's really talking about. It's the one that probably most people like. I believe that bipartisan proposal I talked about in my last video, so definitely check it out if you haven't done so. It's priced at about $1.5 trillion, but there are activators inside that can potentially extend it to $2 trillion, depending on like how the pandemic gets. So if it gets worse, it'll automatically trigger and go into $2 trillion. The Democrats are now trying to write their brand new proposal that's supposed to be estimated for about $2.4 trillion, which means that we are now going to be getting very very, very close to the actual agreement of the actual final second stimulus check and second stimulus package that's hopefully going to be proposed. So a lot of great insightful news there. That package also is very likely to include something for the unemployment benefits boost extension, which is going to be the continuation of another video that I kind of made where I focused about the unemployment. I'll probably put that at the thumb screen at the end as well. But basically, there's going to be some brand new states that are getting their unemployment this week, or finally getting the rest of their unemployment with FEMA. But there's also going to be a brand new second stimulus package proposal that's going to be written, and that's what's really going to be the big insight to this week. Another big news is actually also about the airline industry, and it's really that it's also going to have an impact to the unemployment. Basically, the idea is that there were a lot of airlines that were thankfully able to keep a lot of their employers employed, helping to somewhat deal with the unemployment rates and all that, because of the bailout money. A lot of airlines, they're about to run out of their bailout money very, very soon. And it's very much estimated and predicted that by the end of this week and over the next couple of weeks, the airlines are going to start to furlough and lay off even more and more workers. And I think that they say that very likely by the end of the next 2 weeks, there is a chance that something in like the thousands, maybe even the six-figure range of workers that are within the airline industry, everyone from like pilots, cabin crew, all sorts of different positions, they're going to potentially be laid off, and it's going to be an even more endangerment to the unemployment group, to the millions of people, which we kind of talked about in previous videos. I think it's about 60 million people have already applied for unemployment during this stretch. Some have gone back to work, but there's going to be an even more number coming to join the unemployment community if this doesn't actually somehow go through. So the airline industry supposedly is not just going to impact airlines, but even a lot of other industries, or slash a lot of other jobs in other industries, such as the hotel industry, the entertainment industry, tourism, travel, all sorts of things are all going to be impacted together. Kind of like how we said, like in this world, every industry in its own indirect way kind of has to, we all share the same money, we all share the same currency, we all share the same economy, and at the end of the day, everything is kind of like linked in its own kind of way. If Congress does not pass the next second stimulus check slash second stimulus package, or do something about the airline industry, this is going to potentially take an even greater impact and hit to the entire unemployment force, and of course the airline, travel, tourism, all sorts of industries related to that. And probably the final three things that I really want to talk about for the rest of this video in terms of what to expect is that, if you got, whether or not you guys do or don't know by now, but basically the presidential debates are very soon. They're actually tomorrow, Tuesday, September 29th. I believe it's at about 9 p.m. Eastern time. I'll probably throw out some kind of confirmation right here or something like that. But basically the idea is that this is going to potentially be one of the biggest elections coming up, that, as some of you guys may or may not know, is going to be able to decide a lot of different things. This election, there are so many different things that are really going to be on the line here, and it's also the start of not just the presidential debates, but the debates are this week. I believe the vice presidential debates are the following week. There's going to be even more debates, more speeches, more campaigns, finally leading us until the very first week of November, and that is when we are going to be having Election Day. That is the crazy thing, Election Day. And that's also when we're going to finally be able to see whether or not we're going to end up having a new president. But it also does mean that it's also expected that there is a very high chance that Donald Trump might actually contest the results if he does not win. We don't know what the exact story is, but that's also why there's just so much news that's going to be coming up ahead. So many different things with, again, stimulus checks, unemployment, airlines, furlough, the Black Lives Matter protest, the Supreme Court justice. That's another big news. The elections, the campaigns, the debates. There's a lot of different things. So if there's any really, I guess, big takeaway is that remember to definitely try to tune in for the presidential debates tomorrow, or if you're watching this at a date that's after that date, say already happens, and let's say you're watching this on a Wednesday or Thursday, there's going to be a lot of debates that are going to be coming out. So definitely stay tuned for a lot of that stuff. And I kind of just wanted to express this here so you guys can know about it and really be prepared, but also so you guys can also realize that all of this stuff is going to impact a lot of different things that are going to potentially happen for the next 4 years, including the stimulus check and second stimulus package. Now, I don't want to say who to vote for. I can't tell you guys all that. Everyone's, different. At the end of the day, it's all gonna lead to conflict, like what's going on in the White House. Everything's so political. But the idea general is that this election is going to impact a lot of big things. And it's not even just going to impact in terms of who's going to be the president for the next 4 years, but it's even going to impact the actual power inside of Congress, because as we've kind of mentioned, there's a lot of people inside of the House and inside of the Senate that are up for re-election this year. And we've already obviously had many reasons to complain about how political and screwed up and how so many different issues and problems are currently happening, and everything's about politics, money, economics, and all that kind of stuff, that this is gonna be potentially the chance to change it. That's why it's so important to make sure that that everyone keeps up to date about what's going on, what people talk about, what their plans are, so that you guys can make your own informed decisions, and so that most of all, you guys can basically vote as if your life dependent on it. Because the reality is it actually does. There is a very high chance, if we had different people inside of Congress, inside of the White House, inside of the House and the Senate, the second stimulus check and second stimulus package might have already passed by now, but it hasn't. And that is what this election, why it's such an important election for basically every single person inside of this country, regardless of where you currently stand, but even more true if you are someone that's currently struggling or know of someone that is. But yeah, that's really the big news that I really just wanted to share with you guys. Basically, a huge recap is basically new proposal that's coming out by the Democrats. More people are going to be getting approved for the unemployment with FEMA. There's going to potentially be talks about the new extension to extend unemployment even longer. And this is the legit one that we've been talking about that hopefully will go on all the way to the end of the year. Then there's the presidential debates, which is coming up tomorrow, and then ongoing all the way until election day, 6 weeks until election day. There's also going to be a lot of like side story news inside of this, such as with like the Black Lives Matter protests, social justice, how are the protests going to intensify after the Breonna Taylor verdict when they made their decision about what happened. And then of course also with economics, the stock market, the airlines, the furlough, a lot of industries as they make their transition into Q4, fourth quarter, which is normally supposed to be the biggest shopping season of this year, but how the holiday season, Christmas, all the holidays is going to work this year, that's also going to be another lots of news that's going to be happening. But the bottom line, and also about the brand new Supreme Court Justice nominee. They, as you guys probably may or may not have known, they recently elected, I believe, Amy Coney Barrett to become the next Supreme Court Justice, but she's like being nominated. They're not sure they really want to do it, but it also does once again have an impact, because if she actually does become the Supreme Court Justice, there is a chance that the power will shift to the conservative side, to the conservative Republican side. And again, that is going to have a lot of impact, but there's so much that I can possibly say about this. So that's why if you are brand new here, once again, welcome. So happy to have new people here. Consider subscribing and hitting the bell so you guys can get updates about stimulus check, stimulus package, other financial topics when we need a break. Remember to smash the like button if you haven't done so. And once again, feel free to comment any questions, thoughts about anything at all. And I hope to give you guys an update, but this is what I really, really wanted to share with you guys, because there's a lot of important things to really kind of stay alert and really to be able to be aware of. And because all of this is going to impact so many things about our life over the next couple of years, whether this is stimulus checks, stimulus package, government support relief programs, hazard pay, hazard pay, government support services, healthcare, Medicaid, food stamps, SNAP programs, education, funding, taxes, corporate, so many different things are really going to be impact. Social justice, politics, who's actually in power, who is going to be making the decisions, who's health, who's going to be, how they're going to handle the pandemic, and every kind of stuff. The point is there's a lot of things involved. So definitely stay tuned for that. Smash the like button. Feel free to drop any comments, questions about anything rating and subscribe if you're brand new here. But that's really going to be today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for all of this crazy stuff that's going to be happening. Stay safe and hope to see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much again and hope to see you guys again.